Hello, welcome back to Sochiology. This is Xochitl. So excited to be here with all of you today, as nothing inspires me more to connect with all of you and to be able to express myself on certain topics that are really important to me. And I'm definitely sure they're very important to you. Things that we go through on a maybe a daily basis, things that inspire us, things that helped us grow. I want this to be a really positive platform for all of us to be able to connect on many different subjects. So today's subject is going to be nature. One of my favorite topics. Anything that has to do with nature, I'm all in. I'm all ears. I'm connected and I want to listen and I want to learn more. So I definitely had to discuss this topic because it's one of my favorites. So I'm excited to connect with all of you on the topic of nature. But before we continue, if you guys can do me a quick little favor and hit the subscribe button. I appreciate the support, and definitely if you are inspired by this video today, I ask that you please share it, that you like it, and that you comment on it. And also, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. As a young girl, I remember connecting to nature without even having a sense really of what nature was. It was just something that I was surrounded by, and it wasn't by accident because my love for nature flourished since I was a young kid. And I remember being in elementary school and we had this topic the teacher brought up to us, like, what is it that you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, I want to be a plant scientist. That would, I mean, usually like young girls, they want to be movie stars, they want to be models, all this, all these really, really cool careers. Of course, they're fun also, but me, I'm like, I want to be a plant scientist. Um, I was obsessed with plants. And I used to have like these floating plants in the backyard in this bin that my father, I'm not even sure what it was. It was some makeshift bin and he filled it up with water and I had these floating lily pads on there in the middle of the desert. Imagine that. So that was quite interesting. Anyway, the plants didn't last very long, but they lasted long enough. I mean, I grew up in Arizona where it's very hot, so you can imagine lily pads trying to survive outside in the desert. So anyway, I just remember babying them, just looking at them, being obsessed by the color. I mean, color, when I think of nature, I think of color. Um, and the vibrancy. I remember these plants were like so green and I was just obsessed. And I remember I would like poke them and like try to like bend them a little bit just to see what would happen. I was just so intrigued by the way they operated and also the fact that they were floating on water. I was like, this is beyond cool. I was obsessed. So also my father had a ranch in Mexico, and when I think of nature, I also think of agriculture, I think of animals. We were always surrounded by animals. My father had cattle, he had a horse, different farm animals, pigs, turkeys, and then, of course, all these different fruit trees. Um, at that time in my life, even though I enjoyed nature, I didn't connect with it as much because it involved a lot of work, a lot of physical work. And imagine being a young girl, um, working like a man or like a boy, because my father did not care if we were girls. He wasn't into the whole prissy cutesy thing or whatever. So he made us work like boys. So at that time, even though I still like nature, I didn't like that sense of nature because I was young. I was a little rebellious, but regardless of that experience, I always felt connected to nature. And I just remember looking at the flowers and the fruit trees and like being kind of in awe. Like, it's amazing how these flowers flourish into, he used to have pecan trees, um, into a nut, like a pecan nut, you know what I mean? And then also like apples, pears. It was just so intriguing to me. And then seeing the bees going and pollinating, just all these little aspects that connect with nature. And it's the way that I can describe it is that when God created nature, everything was intricately made. It's just, it's perfectly woven into this artwork, if there's a good way to describe it. And also another thing that really just would soar my mind would be nature in other locations, because I mean, I grew up in the desert, but then now I live in Florida. So now I'm exposed to a different type of nature here, where there I was in the desert, with cactus, as you can see my wall here, with cactus plants, all these different desert inspired colors, just beautiful, beautiful scenery. And now I'm here in Florida, surrounded by the tropics. And yes, everything is green here, the water, the ocean, where there was like mountains and dirt and all these. It's just so interesting to me in how beautiful everything is made and it was created. And another thing that baffled my mind when I would think about nature is how it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, that specific realm of nature was created specific for that type of environment. So now here I'm in Florida. It's a humid weather. It's, it rains a lot, but everything that's in this environment is made to withstand this climate. And then you go somewhere where it snows. And I was recently on a trip to up north where it was snowing and it was like 23 degrees. And there's this, out of nowhere, is this beautiful pink flower. And I'm like, how is it that this flower is alive in 20 some degree weather, right? So in my mind, just to really think about it and to really digest that flower was meant to be in that environment is amazing to me. It's beyond physics. It's beyond anything that your mind can possibly think about. It's just to show you how nature is perfectly made and there's no mistakes in nature. So how do we connect with nature? Aside from the things that I described to you by just looking at it, touching it, smelling it, absorbing it, and just being connected with it, even just staring at it, learning about it, Googling, how does this flower withstand this weather? Whatever your escape is to connect with these flowers or whatever nature. I mean, even snow, to me, snow is amazing. How the water freezes and then it melts. It's mind-blowing. So how do we connect? How do you guys connect with nature? Some of the things that I enjoy, I like to go for walks. Walking barefoot is very healthy for you when you ground yourself, ground your body, go to the beach, go for nature walks. So many different ways to enjoy nature. And to learn about them, maybe you can have a picnic, take a nice blanket and fix you a nice little healthy lunch with some greens and fruits and vegetables, and go sit somewhere in nature under a tree and read a book or listen to some music, or maybe just not do anything and just lay there and connect. I think it's something that's very healthy for the spirit and for your mind and for your soul. And it also helps you slow down, because that's one thing about nature. Nature is never in a hurry. Nature is never slows down. Nature is just nature, and it moves at a pace of how it's designed and it was created to move. They don't cause any harm. I'm referring to like animals and like snow. All these things, they're meant to evolve and change over time, but their intent is never to harm anything or any being. If anything, we cause harm on it, but that's, I don't want to talk about that right now. It's just the fact that let's just engulf in the beauty of nature. And if you think of art, if you think of designs, everything is focused around nature. Even my top now, I mean, these beautiful flowers. Whoever designed this top was inspired by a print, a flower, a color. Maybe they were on a nature walk and they saw these beautiful flowers with this color, and they're like, I have to make this fabric to match those flowers. It's just everything, even the lip shade or the nail polish that I have on, everything is inspired by some sort of nature, uh either a flower, like I said, or even an animal. I mean, animals, that's a whole nother another part of nature that's so beautiful. Animals, um they the only thing that they do is live. They make mistakes. They don't make any mistakes in terms of, oh well, I'm going to take a chance on this or take a chance on that and possibly make a mistake. No, they go based on instincts, survival. They're not greedy. They don't destroy. They just pace along. They migrate. They have their offsprings follow their lead. It's just beautiful how this form of communication between nature, animals, the environment, the ocean, snow, everything just moves so fluidly with without causing any harm, just always inspiring and just always just being nature. To me, it's one of the most beautiful subjects, one of the most beautiful things that we can engulf in and truly enjoy and take advantage. I mean, we're surrounded by it everywhere. Even if you live in a big city and it's chaotic, I mean, to just find a park and just go sit under a tree and just sit there and connect with the energy of trees and leaves and watching the birds. Just so many beautiful things that we can learn and be inspired by. Connecting with nature is one of the purest forms to live. If you can connect with nature at least once a day in some way or form, your life can change, definitely for the positive. Just the fact that you can just sit there and bask in the sun. I mean, that the sun is another thing. The moon, when the sun comes up, if your eyes can really just penetrate into the beauty of a sun rising or the sun setting, the moon when it's coming out, and just shining its beautiful light over the ocean, over the mountains, over the trees, or even over your skin. It's just something there's no words in the dictionary to describe that feeling if you really just disconnect and reconnect with nature. So I encourage everyone to take time out of your day, whether it's just for 10 minutes at least, to just go outside and just let nature engulf you in its beauty. So this is one of my favorite subjects. Like I said earlier, I love talking about nature, and I can go on for hours about this. I mean, I am a huge documentary addict, and most of my feed on documentaries are going to be something that has to do with nature or with animals, flowers, trees, everything that's connected with nature. So I definitely encourage you guys, if you're not already, to do so, to learn a little bit more. I mean, there's mountains and mountains and mountains of information out there about nature, things that have been discovered, things that are still, there's so many things that are still not discovered. I didn't even touch base on the ocean, the depths of the ocean, animals that are being discovered way in the depths of the ocean. It's just so much. And I just encourage all of us to connect with nature and just be kind to it. If you are able to make an adjustment in your life, if it's something tiny that can ripple into something bigger, of how to help nature out or how you can make a difference to make nature better, I definitely encourage you to, because this is our planet. This is where we live, where we reside, and our neighbors are our nature. Nature is our neighbor, so we gotta protect it and connect with it. So I'll leave you guys with that. If you guys can just take time out to connect with nature every day, that would be amazing. So tell me how you connect with nature. Give me some tips. Give me some ideas of what you do and how it makes you feel. I definitely want to know how it makes you feel. I know the feeling is definitely euphoric, but in your own way, describe it to me down below in the content and the comments of how you connect with nature, where you go, what you do, and just share it with me. I definitely want to know. And if you have any really cool documentaries that you think I should watch, please definitely share them with me as well. So guys, this concludes this episode of Sociology. I'm, again, like, I want to definitely come back to this topic because I love it. So, but anyway, thanks guys for visiting me today here at Sociology. It was such a pleasure to connect with all of you guys today on this beautiful planet Earth. Everyone have an amazing night. Take care. Bye-bye.